Hey, I forgot to put the thumbnail.
Hey.
And I'm not muted. What the heck?
Hey. And I'm not.
Wow. How are you guys? All right, here, let me do the thumbnail real quick. Okay. How are you guys? Hi, Megan. You're here early. I was about to clean my glasses. Looks like I bonked my camera too. I just spent so much time setting all this up. So what the heck? Why is it all wonky now? So I traded out my cameras. Hi, Kathleen. Hello, yep. Hi, Mullen. I traded out my cameras because I have this one that the little thing that, like on the camera itself, there's like a threaded spot where you screw the camera onto something to hold the camera, right? And the little like threaded piece, the little like, it's like a little barrel, it fell out of the camera and I couldn't get it back in right after I bought it. And so I've had it taped to the thing. It's awesome camera, but it was taped, and so I was like, today I'm going to switch it out. I didn't realize this camera here, it has a huge surface. Like, you guys can see so much more, right? Sharp coloring meaning it's not good, like it's too sharp, or it's okay. I fussed way too much with stuff today. You know what I mean? Anyway, I was trimming my bangs right before I started. No, it's better. Yeah, so maybe this camera is a better solution because I actually didn't modify it as much as I usually do. And look at this, you can see behind my machine. I just bought 2 new cameras like a year later, and this is what I got, you know, so good. I hope it's better for you guys. I know you can see so much more. I cannot get it to just be right here, and maybe that's a good thing. I even tried to move my little picture over here, like on the screen, and or like, let's see, right here. Wait, how come I can't see my hand in the camera? Oh, because I have it like slid off to the side. Okay, yeah, like I wanted to put it like right here on the screen, and it didn't really help. So you can see like the back of my shelf here, and I switched out a table so I don't have my little curtain up yet. So yeah, exactly, Melinda. I know it looks more fisheye, and I'm not sure how to overcome that. So anyway, okay, good. Yeah, I'm not gonna overthink it. It is bigger. You can see right here. This is more important, right? All right, so I read through the instructions really closely yesterday, and the interfacing that they call for this jacket is fusible, but I'm using the horsehair and the fake horsehair. It's not real horsehair, I promise. And I think on the pocket one, fusible is actually important because you actually fuse it to the jacket, not the pocket. Yeah, right, Malin? Well, I did that. I was fiddling off stream, and then, you know, I'm more confident now about, like, I'm going to switch this camera because now I know how to fix it if it doesn't activate, because you activate and deactivate the cameras. And for some reason, my brand new computer, the little USB ports in the back, they don't hold on to anything plugged into them very well. Brand new, really nice computer, but the USB ports, if you even just touch the cord, it'll fall out the back. Remember when I used to always lose a camera? That's what that is. And so I can't overcome that, and I couldn't overcome the little barrel slipping out. Like, dumb little things. You know? Dumb little things. Anyway, welcome everybody. I'm Sarami. And we're making the Grainline Studio Cascade Duffle coat today, right here. I'm making the hooded long version. What kind of computer? What part do you want to know? It's so good, I could be a pro gamer on it. Like, as far as like the response end of it, and like, I have really amazing internet, 50 upload, 50 download, really amazing for me, you know. Without throwing a ton of money at my stream, I have a really great setup. So because I could obviously get like a really nice camera. You know, the brand is Asus, the brand. That's what it says at the bottom of my monitor. You know, it's great. And it's crazy because all I use it for is streaming. Like there's hardly anything else on it. Like it's this perfect little computer sitting here. And I bought the exact, almost the same one for my one that I use over there. So, because that died too at the same time. Like what the heck? All right. The person getting this coat wanted to thank all of you guys for your input on the contrast trim and the zipper info. And she really likes where we went with it. So, yeah. Exactly, Megan. Exactly. And you know, it's like, I feel pretty computer literate. There is one of you guys is really computer literate and occasionally will email me some really great tips. And I really appreciate that. But no one is really experienced with what I do. Like even a gaming streamer doesn't do what I do because I do picture in picture. And they're only doing their picture on top of their computer screen. You know, like when I show you what I'm shopping for. Or when I'm like looking at it on Instagram. So it is a little different. And every time I bring someone in here who's like, I'll help, you know, like my husband's friend, who's like, I'll help your wife out. Then they get here and I know more than they do. So that's what we're dealing with. Like when I know more, you guys, come on. That's not probably going to get me very far. So, and I don't know all the lingo and stuff. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to lure this. There's a moderator in one of the streams I watch. And I follow him on Twitter. And he seems like he wants to help people set up streams. And he has no idea who I am. And in his world, I'm someone totally different because I have a different username in the stream. He doesn't know me anyway. Like, it's a huge stream. But I think I'm going to reach out to him and say, so, you know, that thing you mentioned like a few weeks ago, like helping people, maybe I could, you know, pay you to teach me how to do this. Yeah, I mean, Megan, I mean, my husband does too. I mean, he has like 2 or 3 monitors at once. But that's a little different. And 2 monitors would certainly be beneficial for me to see the chat and see what I'm streaming. But we're doing okay here. You know, for now, it's fine. What I would really like is a better camera so you could see very detailed what I'm doing. Because I think that's the biggest struggle. Anytime I tune into a Sewist's live stream, most of the time I see they have the camera like right here pointing at the machine sideways and you can't really see what they're doing. And so I'm really focused on trying to get you to be able to see what I'm doing. Because it's a little, because it's better when you can see it from my standpoint. But I can't have the camera right here. And so I experimented with a lot, and this is the best. So, anywho, let's sew. So, let's see. I cut out the interlining, and I thought about it and realized I wanted to use the exact same pieces as the self. And my rationale is the fact that there's a huge pleat in the lining. That's the whole piece of the lining. So, I don't really want to do that as the interlining, you know? Yeah, right, Megan, exactly. Hi, Terry, how's it going? So I feel like just treating this as one layer is probably the smartest thing. So the first step is fusing all of your interfacing pieces, but because we didn't do fusible, we're not going to be doing that. So we don't have to worry about that quite yet. So I think I stack all my pieces in the order that I'm going to use them. I feel so organized. You won't see this interlining. So interlining means it's between the outer coat and the lining coat. The lining of the coat is going to be against the wearer's body, and the outer coat is the surface everyone will see them when they're wearing. They're going to see the outside of the coat, right? This is just a little flannel layer that's going to go inside to add one more layer of warmth because it's very cold where they live. So at least in the wintertime. All right, so I'm going to try and follow the instructions. I feel like this is one of those streams that folks might want a follow along sort of thing. So sometimes it does take me a little longer because I'm trying to follow the instructions, but maybe that'll help. Maybe you can kind of like keep up with me. All right, so we're going to treat all these layers as one. So this is our interfacing that is not fused. I think like you could tack these layers to the pieces, What I worry about that is distorting the edges. So I think my strategy is I'm going to put this fuzzy flannel layer towards the interfacing so that the smoothest surface glides on the lining. Do you guys think that's a good rationale? Yeah, exactly, Megan. Yeah, because don't you think like putting lining on that whole, like interlining, that's a whole, that's like flannel, because flannel's really tacky. If I put that as the whole lining piece, there'd be this huge pleat of it too. Hi Esther, how's it going? Nice. That sounds like a meeting you needed to get out of. I don't think I need to tack them either, Malin, because look at, they're kind of already staying pretty good, right? All right, so we're gonna do our yoke seam first on the front. So let's stack these guys up too. I'll just put one of these away. And let's see, we'll just leave this against this one. Pick it up. Oh, this one has my pocket markings, which is fine. Let's get this. This jacket doesn't have welt pockets, so when I was reading, I was trying to figure out like what Grainline would recommend if you used an interlining like we are, right? And they just kind of casually mentioned it. You can also use an interlining. So I know, Megan, but the flannel, there's a lining on top of the flannel. So they're not going to feel the softest layer. So my thing is that I'm thinking it might be better if the lining glides as easily as possible, you know? And it doesn't get hung up on the interlining. That's my rationale. Yeah, okay, cool. We're on the same page. Wait, where was I going with that, with the pocket thing? I'm not sure. Oh, so I was reading, trying to find the interlining info. I read probably the initial post when they first made this jacket. Hey, PA, how's it going? And I thought it was really interesting because she actually went over there. I'm assuming it's the gal that wrote it. That's why I'm saying she. But she went over her rationale of why she called this an advanced sewing project. And I really appreciated that because I struggle to put those denotations on my, like when I do the little project synopses on the website and it has all the links to the videos. Sometimes I'll look up what a company stated it as, and sometimes I'll just put my own. But then I'll look at it again like 3 months from now and I'll be like, and I'll change it, you know? And so I thought that it was really interesting why she considered it advanced, because she's like, all of the steps are actually quite simple, and they are. They're all straight stitch. Even the way you install the zipper is very straightforward. So there really isn't anything to worry about with this, as long as you've cut it accurately and you sew the proper seam allowance. In my opinion, the only thing to be like aware of is when you're attaching the lining to the coat, because if you have had any discrepancies in the cutting or the sewing, that can make, when you attach the two together, the lining and the outer, the lining might hang funny, right? And so that's really the only thing I feel like you really got to pay attention to. Oh no, PA, if you're on Instagram, you need to follow the Instagram account, Can You Sew This For Me? You can commiserate with others on that. It's so good. I love that account. So the things that she said made it advanced were the number of pattern pieces, and I agree with that. Because it is a lot to keep track of and it can be a little overwhelming. Like I was like, okay, this is a lot of pattern pieces. I did a lot of prep the day before. The other thing is, I think it's sewing a jacket with a lining, but she underscored that it is a really simple process. It just seems a little intimidating. And then the third thing was the cost of all the materials that would go into a jacket of all of this detail, like because you need the outer fabric, and the outer fabric you're going to use if you're going to invest this much time, you're probably going to want to use something nice or something that you really want forever. And you have to buy interfacing and the zipper and the lining and all these things. Lining's pretty affordable. And so I thought that was really cool that they they take into consideration the cost, because a lot of beginners probably don't want to invest a ton of money quite yet until they're like, okay, I know this can come out okay. And I understand that. I get it. All right, so 1/2 inch seams. I've got a lot of I've already got 5 layers going. So here we go. I lengthened my stitch a little bit after I tried my thread out. I'm actually going to reduce some of the pressure on my presser foot. And the reason I did that was it's really easy to do on my machine. It's one of the reasons I love my machine is the pressure that I can get. The reason I did it is if it's really firm, I'm just making sure I'm treating the right side of the fabric, is that if it's too firm, it'll push the fabric like this as I'm sewing. I'm exaggerating it, right? So if you're pressing too hard, and it'll make a dent. So now I have to top stitch this, and this is quite a bit. I switched also to a size 16 needle. There may be a time where I might want a size 18. When you're doing top stitching like this, try and not stop. You'll get a much straighter line. I'm surprised that was as straight as it is, just because I did kind of hesitate a little bit. Yeah, exactly, Terry. That's how I feel about jeans making. Like, a lot of people are really impressed by jeans making, and I admit I will certainly try and capitalize on impressing someone because of jeans. Like someone in real life, and they're just like, oh, you make your own clothes, or did you make what? And they always point to whatever I'm wearing up top. And I'm like, yeah, but I made my jeans too. And they're always like, what? You know, it's so funny. And I always think about jeans just because it's like, really, jeans are actually pretty easy to sew. Even the zipper fly, right? It's only like 7 steps, and they're all short, straight stitches. If you just do it precisely with the seam allowance, and your pattern pieces match the method. Also, I think the thing that makes jeans so hard is sizing. It's the fit, you know? But other than that, it's like sewing 2 sleeves together, as some Project Runway participant said, like in one of the first couple seasons ever. I thought, that's kind of true. They're so satisfying too. They're kind of addictive. All right, so there's notches on here. It looks like they're only to match this yoke. You don't really need notches for that, but it doesn't look like I add anything else. I'm releasing a little bit of the pressure. That's why I lift my presser foot up like that. I don't want to decrease the pressure much more. So. Oh, right. The PA, is that because they're laminated fabrics? Yeah, right, Malin? Yeah, I totally agree with you. That is my wheelhouse. I feel like if you were to like compare different sewists, let me finish top stitching my thing. Let me follow my own advice here. Like, say you were to be like, what is that? What the heck is that? Oh, it's fiber. Oh my gosh, I thought that was ink. Did you see that? It was a fuzzy. It's a fuzzy that's woven in there. Phew, okay. I think if I were to like be described by someone else, my style would be practical, very functional, everyday clothing, things I really want to wear. I know, Megan, it looks like a whole huh? Like, I'm not going, like that sew frosting challenge, I'm like, there's nothing about that appeals to me. It's kind of cool to watch, but I'm just like, oh, I don't want to put all that effort into slippery fabrics for something I might wear once, you know? Oh, right, Malin. Yeah. All right, so that's step 2. Step 1 was fusing all your pieces. Now we're going to do our back yoke, and then we're going to do the skirt of the jacket. And then, all right, what's this? My lower body. Let me make sure I'm not putting these. There is a right side to this fabric, so I need to honor that. Make sure there's nothing in between. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine. Ooh, this is a little wrinkly. Is this the wrong one? This is the wrong one. Yeah, Megan, so that might be, like, doing knits is a totally legit thing to regularly sew, you know? Oh, this is the, I probably had that piece correct to begin with. This is the wrong side of the fabric. This piece is very subtle. This is too wrinkly. After I seam this together, I'm going to iron it. Okay, so I added a 1/2 inch to the waist and 3/4 of an inch to the hip area down through to the hem for this person. And then I showed how I blended that on the cutting video. I might even use smaller seam allowances on the side seams just to kind of emphasize that difference, because I know this person wants to wear really warm clothes underneath, and there's nothing like having a great coat and then you can't even fit your clothes underneath, you know? They want a professional look for their job, but they were still okay with the floral zipper band, but we're not going with the hood. She actually had a good point. She was like, you know, it might decrease on static electricity, but at the same time, I kind of just want to go with the more professional look. So I was like, understood. I'm learning about what fabrics do best to counter static electricity because there's so much in my area now. So iron, yeah, I know, right? It'll be okay for this seam though. But this is the front. It's definitely the front because it's not on the fold. Alright. It's probably really subtle to tell, but I can tell this is the straight edge, and then there's this little like whoop right here. So this is the side and the hem and the side seam. Line up this. And make sure that this, you don't have like any buckling in your inner lining if you're doing that. Like just hang it off the edge and trim it off. That is one thing I should be doing. I should be grading my seams. I forgot about that. And that just means to trim the thicknesses. Oh wait, this is the one I really want to. So I'm going to do it this way. I can see that. That's my pocket. All right. Oh, you guys see I'm wearing my spoon flower. No, but it is really snowy where they live. Like they're already freezing. Okay. I'm letting this edge hang out because this one's already sewn right here at the yoke. Now that my whole camera fits everything, it's kind of nice. I've literally seen Spoonflower post 2 fabrics I've bought, 2 or 3 fabrics I've bought recently. And I'm like, what the heck? I just made something in that. Not funny. I don't think they know. Like I used to talk with them, not in the way you're thinking, but when you're a pro member, because you can pay to be a pro member on Spoonflower, and it gives you a discount. It also gives you free shipping, gives you free swatches, and it also gives you a discount on bulk. So it's their way of saying, we know we can't give you wholesale, but we can give you these other perks, right? So I've been a pro member. I paid for my pro membership this year by saving up all of my the amount I made on my fabrics last year. I'm gonna grade my seams here. So that just means you trim them at different widths so that it reduces the bulk. I don't like grading seams. I think it's tedious, to be honest, but it'll help. But I'm sure they have no idea, like I don't talk to the rep lately that I had, you know, but I would love to do stuff with them. All right, so you're told to push this seam allowance up and this one down. They also recommend a 1/4 inch top stitch. I'm actually centering my foot on the seam. I'm just going by that. Got a little narrow there. All right. I'm gonna iron that. Okay, let's get that. I need to trim that other chest seam, don't I? Terry, did you focus on keeping the inside of your jacket looking really nice? I kind of go back and forth on that kind of thinking, you know? Yeah, I wouldn't have either, Terry, except that it said to. Oh, you already have your next coat picked out, Malin? Ooh, are you now a coat making gal? That first, you know, when we looked at the Cascade Duffle coat hashtag yesterday, the first gal, at least for the last couple days in the feed, she's a blonde white girl, and she has this like almost like a deep berry colored Cascade coat. It's beautiful. I think it's snowy behind her too. There's like 2 pictures. I clicked at her thing because there was something she said, and I thought maybe she'd give a little indication on something. I can't remember what it was. But she is on like a coat making tear. She's made like 4 or 5 coats lately. Yeah, you knew it was going to be long. Okay. Yeah. You've just trimmed in top stitch. The seam allowance got a little less right there. Let's fix that. I haven't even done the back yet, huh? I feel like when you're doing this, it just doesn't look that great. Like when you're sewing your jacket together, it doesn't look that great until like so close to the end that just makes you doubt the whole time, you know? I know, she didn't say much about it, but I was like, wow, she's made a lot of coats lately. And I have seen people that are just like, you know, like when they had some sort of challenge recently about like what's your favorite thing to sew? I can't remember what the little challenge was. And one gal was like, well, I really want to say it's this, but honestly, if I look at what I've sewn this year, I guess I must be really into coats. And I thought that was kind of funny because I could actually get really into it too. I really like all the possibilities. And it's so hard for me to think about having a coat that's just like the only thing I get to wear with all my clothes, you know? Like, I'm not like a fashion, you know, I'm not like driven by fashion, but at the same time, I want my coat to match. And it fits differently over our clothes, you know? They can fit differently over different outfits. So I would like different coats, but I just feel like it's also a little bit decadent to have like more than one coat, you know? It just seems a little too privileged. Like, okay, I don't need this many. And my husband loves buying me coats too. He gets a lot of good deals in the outdoor industry, and he really, wants to see me warm. I'm so worried I'm going to use the wrong side of the fabric. Terry, what did we just say that made you want to do that? Okay, this is I'm curious. Yeah, she can show us. I know, I'm so bad about the Facebook. Oh, I need to look at that too. I'm glad you show us on in the Facebook group. I'm kind of liking this horsehair, whatever. Can we call this something else? Even just without the animal rights type of question, it kind of throws in your face. Just the idea of it. Yeah, it is a really great reference. Like, just, you don't even have to post anything. You can be private on there too, but just for the research, just so you are, when you're looking, like, if you search on Instagram, and we can do a little like primer on how to use it if you want, if that makes it a little more appealing, and just like what's most essential. But if you're not really posting on there, you're not gonna have to worry about a whole lot. But when you're in the search tab of it, you can search for tags or accounts, right? So you could search SoSoLive as the account for me, but I also have a hashtag SoSoLive that I use on my posts, right? So you'll see anything any one of us has posted with SoSoLive. But then you could search the hashtag Peacoat, and you could see what people have done and maybe what their trials and tribulations were, or just inspiration, So it is a useful tool, in my opinion. And I use it a lot, especially researching projects for the stream, because sometimes I will just notice the exact same fit issue on 12 different versions of the same item. And for me, I'm like, okay, what's that? All right, my daughter's calling. That makes me a little worried because she was getting her hair done. So you know what that could mean. I doubt she'd call me to say, it looks great. She knows I'm streaming, but she's forgetting, I think. So. And Maggie, Michael's grandma, is moving into the home right now, so he's busy, so he's probably not answering the phone either. Oh, dang it. Oh, yep. It didn't go well. Man. Everything she's going through is exactly why I've never dyed my hair. I'm too paranoid. I can't tell if I cut this wiggly or I'm not lining it up well. That's why I keep fiddling with it. Maybe she doubt it. It's a bad time of year to do that. It'd be cold. Oh, Esther, that's true. Hi, Louise. That's why you have a bunny. Yeah, and so Terry, one of the accounts I really like is Sew Over 50. SEW over, and then the numbers 50. And I really like them because I feel like they're really good about like just shedding light on certain things and little tutorials and just really supporting people. It's one of my favorite accounts. Makes me look forward to being 50 too, and over it. Okay. This feels thicker. Oof, I'm not gonna lie. This long of a seam, I really want it to be straight. That SOS hashtag reminds me of that ABBA song. I feel like my seam is flipping. Maybe I didn't grade it properly. Yeah, the feel like the flannel piece is flipping. It's okay. Oh yeah, it flipped a little down right here. Okay. So now we have our skirt. It's not a skirt, but it's not a peplum either, so I don't really want to call it that either. Let's get this nice and flat. Remember, I'm just treating this inner lining as an extra layer. You could even put a windproof layer in here. You might, if you do something like that, because someone might be going, ooh, what a great idea. Here's the drawbacks with my experience with those. They can be loud. And you know, it's like when you sit on a child's bed that has the waterproof mattress cover. That kind of noise. That's what it reminds me of. There's that. And you can get them to where they're quiet. Like it's definitely a thing people talk about in the outdoor industry, is the quietness of the laminate. So you can find things and they'll talk about it. The other drawback is that there are all these yoke seams. So that's perforating it. So at every seam, if you have a windproof layer inside, at every seam you're going to feel the wind pierce right through to your skin right there. Oh, that's great, Terry. That's so smart. That's so smart, yeah. Setting yourself up for success. So smart. But you can find really great windproof layers, like at places like Seattle Fabrics. The Rain Shed didn't retire. Someone bought the business, so there's that option as well. They're kind of getting back on their feet with the new ownership. But you can ask them, how loud is that fabric? Just so you know. Okay, I'm just going to ignore that sticking out. I'm not going to line it up because then it'll buckle on the inside. I'm just going to put a few pins so I'm not fiddling with it as much. Just put it away from the seam. Like this. Don't you just love it when you're doing a long seam and it matches? It's the little things. Okay, so I had totally forgot yesterday. I remembered it in time, don't worry. That I had a phone consultation with Beatrice Forms yesterday to go over like setting me up for the best success with scanning. And oh my gosh, that lady is awesome. Like she's really nerding out on sizing and bodies, and I do that too. And I could tell we were just like think about it kind of similarly, but we also have come across things that are just like I don't know. I'm very non-judgmental about size, and I really feel that way, you know. So it was nice to meet someone else that you can tell she just thinks about it in a nerdy, sciencey way. And, you know, she's scanned over 100 people now, and she's just so fascinated by how different we all are. And it just proves that there's nothing standard. I have to text my daughter, you guys. I'm really sorry. Sorry about that. All right. So. Oh, yeah. That's great. They used a fine cotton, like a really tightly woven. Yeah, the original kind of windproofing. That and things like waxing fabrics. You wouldn't want to do that as an interlining, but it's a possibility. Basically, when you think about, like, I've never talked to you guys a lot about outer fabrics, but I know more than some home sewists, but I'm not up on all the fabrics right now. Outer fabrics are, how do I put this? They're in the technology and chemistry side of business, right? So it's keep staying up to date on outer fabrics is like trying to stay up on technology. So I'm not up to date on it. I just know what I know from my experience. But, you know, when you think about using synthetics like that, like especially windproofs and outerwear, and you're not doing something like a waxed canvas or cotton, you're basically dealing with plastic, and that's the way to think about it. And I'm not saying that as a disparaging thing. It's just a really great way to think of it, because then you kind of keep your head about you and you don't get too wooed in by some of the fabrics. It is petroleum, it is plastic. And so you have to think about it that way also, because if you remind yourself this is plastic, it's like I'm wearing a garbage bag. I ran out of bobbin thread. Were you guys going to tell me? If you're wearing a garbage bag, you would sweat up a storm. So that's the argument for paying extra for a breathable fabric. There is a lot of value in a breathable fabric. It's worth it. It doesn't cost as much more as the amount you'd wear the jacket more. You know, like it has its benefits. So that's the first couple of things I would ever say to someone getting into outdoor fabric, is just remember what you're dealing with. It doesn't matter what they've done. It's still plastic. And I've actually seen fabrics, like when people were going really whole hog, like the chemical and fabric companies were going whole hog on it. One of the interesting things I saw was, interesting and not a great way to me, they were doing basically coating cotton fabrics, completely coating them in chemicals to make them waterproof and have other properties, wicking, antimicrobial, anti-smell things, you know, things like that, totally negating all the cotton, right? And we never even explored something like that. We were like, no, you just need to call it what it is. You know, we're not going to do that. It's also like in the knitting world, where people will say bamboo is a natural fiber to knit with, but it's not anymore, because the way bamboo fiber is made is a chemical process, and it changes the bamboo. So oh, that's so great, Mullen. I can't wait to see your jacket. All right, so I feel like when I grade, okay, so this is getting top stitched pointing down. So this actually, in my opinion, is the one I want to grade, the one that's going to be closest to the coat once it's top stitched. And we're only talking about like waterproof materials or laminated materials. We're not even talking about base layer fabrics, you know, like performance wear, like fleece and wicking layers, because that's a whole other can of worms. I did more research on that for one of the projects I did, but I worked somewhere where we used all the waterproofs and I just designed things for the fabrics they gave me. I didn't have to do the research for the fabric. I just argued with them about color. They had some outdated views on color. So yeah. And I'm not even like the one to talk to about that kind of stuff. Like I am not the expert on trends, but I knew a thing or two about what was outdated, you know? All right. This is when I want a little table right here, you know? Okay, this is a lot easier now that did I just not grade the other one? Did I not grade the one towards the body? Is that what I didn't do? These little black fuzzies, I'm finally getting over it. They look like ink spots. Too paranoid. It's kind of helping that one piece of flannel is a little bit longer. It's kind of enclosing it all. I might have been able to iron this seam, but I don't really feel like I'm skipping a step. Wouldn't have much of an impact on this kind of thickness, so. For this top stitch step. All right. We have a coat front and a coat back. Alright, so let's move all these pattern pieces here. Now we get to do the pockets. Oh, I need where's my lining? Did I forget to cut the lining in the pocket? Oh, I don't. Wait. I could swear I cut. Oh, I did. Yeah. It's a separate piece. Okay, got it. Okay. I was like, I could swear I did that. All right. All right, so I got rid of those. Okay, great. All right. So we're going to place our lining. So the lining is a little bit, no, smaller than the pocket. And so what happens is, I have to iron this again. You stitch it like this, and then it pulls it to the inside of the pocket like this. And we're also going to stitch around the perimeter, turn it right side out, and then top stitch it down. So let's, while I warm up the iron, and then we're going to position our interfacing onto the body of the jacket. Go to the iron. Oh, you guys, how do I sound today? And yesterday, was I really quiet? Because, the microphone was pointing at the sewing machine yesterday, not the pattern table. Like air. I sound like air. Did I forget to top stitch this? Oh, I did. Okay. This coat's going to have to be dry cleaned as well, so with all these different layers, you don't have to worry about things shifting as long as you sew it in there good. Okay, so I just need to top stitch this one down. I did grade it, and so you can see when it's like shorter, and then you top stitch it down, it kind of encloses it. Pretty sure that's how it works. I need to top stitch this before I iron it though. I got this one, right? Yeah. Ah, that's not good. I hate this. I don't want that to be like that. Alright, let's top stitch this first. Did I check the phone? What do you mean? Brooke didn't tell me I was quiet. I do look at my phone. Just in case I miss people on Twitch. I haven't even looked to see if people are on Twitch. Hi, Twitch. Bryant, how's it going? I have it up today so I can kind of see a snippet of it so I could see more. All right, let's see. But I have to have all these layers now. All right, let me top stitch this. Did I check the phone? Nope. What do you mean? I mean, my daughter is texting up a storm, and I really don't want to look at my phone right now, Megan. Yeah. I mean, she's not happy with her hair. I can tell that's the synopsis. And she was like, the text that made me respond to her was, nobody ever responds to my calls, but she's forgotten that Michael is like really busy right now getting his grandmother situated in a whole brand new home. In between meetings, he has 3 meetings today, and I am streaming. So I always do on Thursdays. She knows that. She's sad. She's really sad. I can tell. All right, so let's iron the interfacing on. And so there's some diagrams here of putting your interfacing on your pocket, and you go about a 1/2 inch above the little slit that they have for the VB. I'm so worried this is gonna come flying apart, so let me fix this. Okay. So let's do this. We're gonna put our pins through to the other side like this. I probably should fix that. Dang it. But you know, if I take this out, I'm gonna look at this. See, the thing is, if I take this out, I want to take out the whole thing. Or I have to take it out to like here, so that the start-stop is under the pocket. You know what I mean? That is, yeah, I know, Megan, right? Poor us, too. So if I fix this little bump, which I'd really like to, I need to go all the way under the pocket. Otherwise, I have to take all of it out. I don't seam ripple like that. So I'll just take this out right here. You don't want to have to do this on the right side of the garment because you might snag your fabric. And when you're doing these thicknesses, it can get really hard to remove a seam. This flannel is making it look so sloppy, you know? All right, let's do a little bit more. This. So yeah, I couldn't put my mic the way I used to have it, but because none of you said anything about how I sounded yesterday, I'm thinking it's gonna be fine. Alright, so let's pull this out like that. I'll just stitch that real quick. Exactly, Megan. You know. Let me push that flannel down so it doesn't do it again. You can't even see the back tack because it's so thick, but still. I like hiding it. Okay, so we have our pins going to the back side here. We're going to place our interfacing. Make sure you're not going to immortalize anything that might be a bump. Place it so that it's a 1/2 inch past the pins and a 1/2 inch above. Something like that, like that. I'm going to start with this weirdness here. You're going to stitch through all these layers with the pocket. All right, I have one. And our other one. So yeah, I was talking to that gal and I'm gonna lower this pin. I'm thinking that I'll want this parallel to this edge, you know, visually. To the gal Allison from Beatrice. Oh look, I did it again right there, you guys. This is gonna be in the side seam. I may not worry about this one. I think I'm not gonna worry about that one right there. And we were talking, like, she was like, we should do like a video of us talking about sizing together. So I might try and figure out how to do that for and do it on on the stream, because she thinks for some reason that I'm the video expert. I was like, okay, I don't know how to do that. I know that one gal, Dueling Designs, that's how she does interviews for her stream. So maybe I'll have to check out a way to do it. I know it's possible. Okay. So how's your guys' holiday stuff going? You hanging in there? I feel like I'm using my holiday stuff as a treat. Like, I'm like, you have to get all this other stuff done and then you can sew your holiday stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not how it works. Hi, late night, how's it going? Yeah, I think it would be interesting because I think she and I both talk about sizing very differently than most people do. Not better or anything, just different. We don't look at it I really don't look at it like a roadblock, you know? Is that little mark? I was like, what the heck? What's that? So I think it could be really interesting. And the fascinating thing to me was like talking with her and getting ready to do this scan, because there's a lot of really important things I need to do to get the best possible dress form. I'm gonna barely iron this because it won't take much. But what was really interesting to me is that she talks a lot about like the silhouette. I'm good, thanks. You got the pattern pieces for your coat in the mail today, and you're getting closer and closer to getting started. Woohoo, Bryant, that's awesome. That'll be great. What a great winter project. Oh my gosh, Terry, it's so much thickness to do that. So one of the things she talked a lot about is basically you can tell she's used to preparing people for, first of all, seeing themselves three-dimensional. Can be a little bit unsettling no matter how you feel about yourself or how you look or whatever, right? Like it could be just seeing yourself in the third person it's a really weird experience. Like I tell you guys when I look at myself on the camera, like if I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I raise this hand, the hand in the mirror on that side of the mirror raises up. But when I see myself in the camera here, it's the hand over there that raises up. Because I see myself on here the way you see me, and I'm not used to that. So that's kind of a interesting, just like that. I've already dealt with it a little bit there. But she talks about like your posture, because you definitely want to stand as natural the way you normally stand as possible. But you also don't want to be slouching at all, even if that's very like, if you're comfortable and being relaxed, because you can distort the fit of the garment. But I've only ever used an X and Y axis for pattern drafting. That's how all pattern drafting is done, is the X and Y axis. You move every point on a pattern piece, X or Y, negative or positive. That's how you move everything in it. You cannot just say, make it 1 inch bigger. It won't do that. You have to move it. There are some really sophisticated programs where you can change the measurements here, but you have to check it because they're not that reliable. Awesome, Sydney. Welcome. So she was telling me about that, and I was like, so you guys use the Z-axis, and I've never used it. And so she's using the one like, you know, so you have your X and your Y. I just did that right? X and Y. I'm trying to think of it the way you're looking at it with me. And then you have the Z, right? So if it were flat on the table, you have your X and your Y, and then you have your Z, the three-dimensional. So I started thinking about myself, and I started thinking like, if there was a straight rod down the center of me, but not down the center of me, but like straight perpendicular to the floor, where would that rod go into my head and out my body? Like, would it go, because we all think, oh, it would go straight in the middle of my head and out my pelvis, right? But that might not be where, but what if it came out at your belly button? Because because your posture is so different. Everyone's posture is so different, you know? So, hi, Brown Sugar. Oh, I do. I'm sewing it Saturday as well. Oh, that's cool. I know. I've seen so many cool versions of this too. Yeah, I know. It is really inspiring seeing everybody's. What did I just do with these? Did I just like literally drop these? I did, didn't I? Yeah. I'm talking too much. So I'm already so fascinated by this dress form. I'm so glad I got to meet Allison, because I can tell already like she and I have a lot of things to talk about someday, you know? All right, so I'm gonna sew across the top edge first. Ooh, do you see what my because the can you guys see that? See how the fabric's going? Ooh, the color looks so different. I won't monkey around with it, I promise. You see what it did though? Because look, I know I'm not using words. It matches. Look, matches edge to edge. So did that one. But when you sew it, it draws up the lining because the wool is so much softer. I'm just looking for the notches. There's the notches. This is the right side of the pocket. So I'm already thinking about my neck and the way my neck sits on my body. Because my neck, I've had some pretty like frustrating issues with my neck just personally the last like 7-8 years. And so I work on that a lot with a chiropractor. And it's just something I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life. We all have our own little things, you know, as your body, as you get older and stuff. So I'm already thinking like if I had done this scan like 20 years ago, aside from the weight I've gained from getting older, what would my posture and my neck position do? Like, it's so fascinating to me, you know? All right, so now I think I'm going to press that. I'm kind of deciding, like, do you think... Maybe I should look at the instructions. I was about to understitch this right here, but I'm thinking that when you have the pocket all said and done, like this, you can stitch across the top. Would that look more natural? Let's see what they say to do. So I'm steer you guys. Pull these over to the right side. It's just very long instructions. Okay. Top stitch along the seam on the lining side at around H. Okay, so you understitch it. Right? Oh yeah, there is no stitching. Look, the pocket's naked. See, there's no stitch across the hem. Okay. Okay. We'll do it that way. So how many of you bought the bootstrap dress form yesterday? Is that our next sew along? I'm kind of like, I'm so intrigued if you guys do this. All right, so now I'm gonna stitch on the sides here up to this notched spot right here and leave it open. I'm trying to correct that little thing, and I feel like I'm getting into a different kind of trouble here. That little thing with the lining. Ooching. Because now it's ooched at an angle. So let's make sure I didn't, you know? I also want a very square pocket. Sorry, I keep lifting up my presser foot. Okay. Looks like it's going to lay flat. That's what I'm mostly concerned with, is that it's going to lay flat. So. Yeah, so naked pockets, right? I know, it's so funny. I do that on the, oh, this is a small hole. I do this kind of non-stitched hem on the project bag at the top. And it looks so normal to me now, but I know when I first started doing it, I was like, this looks kind of interesting. It's mysterious, you know? Yeah, so the bootstrap dress form, I'm not getting that when someone gave me a Beatrice, so I get to do that. But at the same time, I'm kind of curious about this bootstrap process, because you buy a a custom pattern of you, and then you make it yourself. And a couple people have in the stream have done it, and they rave about it. They say it worked really great. It sounds like it's pretty easy. It's the tricky part is the stuffing. And it's on sale for 40% off through the end of the year, apparently. You guys, this is a really small hole for this kind of thickness. Okay, so here's my bottom corner. That corner. I'm gonna use my awl to turn it. All right, so we have our little pocket. Okay, I'll line this one up. Maybe I'll stick with the same size hole. If you're doing something thicker, you might want to make that hole a little bigger. But it will make it easy to stitch it down onto the garment when that little opening is really small. So that's awesome, Terry. Brian's on YouTube. Do they do a male version of it, Bryant? Yeah, exactly, Sydney. Yeah, and I think like the Nancy, who's a regular here in the stream, she's made it and she's talked a lot about it. She made 2. She said her first one she did wasn't the right fabric. And then which one of you yesterday, was it Rachel, said that they did the same thing. They did the wrong fabric for theirs. Wasn't the wrong, but it could have been better, you know? And so Nancy made hers again, and she said, yeah, the stuffing, because even if it's exactly you can stuff it and distort it from your body. That's cool, Bryant. That's cool. That's really cool. Ooh. I kind of want to do it just as a project because I'm really curious about it. My Beatrice is going to take like a couple months from when they get a successful scan. So it's a process. We might not see it for 3 months, you guys. That would be a really good sew along. I'd be kind of down for doing that. It'd be fun. The Beatrice also, she sends me a pattern for the cover so I can replace it if I want. Ooh, don't do that. Don't snag it. All right. See, I really love using the awl to turn the corners, but really, this is what I think is the best. I put the corner, that little corner, this little section of the corner is flat on my thumb inside, right? And I push the seam allowance to one side, like kind of like you would understitch the pocket edge or something, right? So I've got all the seam allowance pressed this way right now, and then I put my fingertip on that corner, and then I push it out like that with my thumb on the inside. That always yields a better result for the first shot, you know? When it's something like this where you have the fabric is lighter weight than this one, it is going to be a little trickier. But when you're using the same weight fabric on both sides and there's not going to be that push-pull, because right here the wool wants to beat the teal, right? All right, let's iron these. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Brian. I mean, you can find them used. You just have to make sure that the measurements you are looking for, you don't go by the size. Is what I'm trying to say. So like that little dress form you've seen me play around with here. What year? She's like 1978. So she's a size 5 from 1978. I guarantee you the size 5 today is not the same measurements. So you can't just say, oh, I'm a straight up 34, I'm a straight up 12, and then order a used dress form without knowing the measurements. I mean, that seems really obvious, but it's just something to note. Like if you're like, oh gosh, I just found a wolf dress form, 1956 wolf dress form from, that's a size 8, that's perfect, and then you get it and you're like, holy heck, who is this person? Because vanity sizing happened to us in our lifetime, and other sizing trends have happened along the way as well. So it flips back and forth. Look at this little fuzzy. Let's pull that one out. Okay. So the other thing about this is, because that hole is so small, did you see that notch right there is in there? And I felt like it was starting to get stretched out because I notched it. I should have notched the wool. It would have been less forgiving, and it would have stayed. Okay, now we get to top stitch our pocket on. See, it's naked. Or naked. Oh no! You guys see what I did? You can't see what I did. This isn't the right side of the fabric. Oh. Wham. The heck, Jeremy? I need to talk less, but I feel like today's been a quiet stream. Yeah, exactly, Louise. Exactly. Yeah, I had a 1956 wolf dress form. She was a size 10. And she measured, it was really weird. She measured what our size 12 at the time measured. And then it just got worse. and it's because I think too, like, probably some forms were still built for a corseted figure too, you know. The 1956, there wasn't really corsets, but there were girdles. I could recut this. What do you think's faster? I know you can't, but I can. Now, can you see the difference? Dang, the lighting, you guys, this lighting, you sure you don't want me to change it? Why is it so blue? I'm changing it. I know Megan's like, no. If I had had a bit of sugar today, it's because everyone's so quiet. So I feel like I have to talk. Recut. I agree. I know, my table, it does have a gray cast to it. How's that? It's not the right blue. Okay, yeah, we can just recut it. We got the pattern pieces right here. Carrie. Well, you guys have definitely seen when it doesn't work for me. The heck? Oh my gosh. Sometimes these little Olfa mats are too soft, you know? Alright. Megan's right, this is faster. It's way more satisfying. Right. Yeah, oh gosh, Sydney. Yeah, I make a lot of mistakes. This is the Grainline. Here we go. Took me a minute there. I do not mind making mistakes at all. It's the only way you can learn. It's literally the only way to learn. You have to learn what not to do. You have to have that experience, even if it's just like, oh, remember that time? I'm sewing something similar to that time that I did that thing. So I better pay attention, you know? Look at how crooked that looks. I just need a little nip. That's all I really want on that. I don't want my opal mat to get warped. Yeah. Hi, Sherry. You're eating cookies and watching. Why'd you yell at me? Your poor cat. Because I changed the lighting. Is this my bad one? Yeah. Trash. This is my good one. All right, let's see. This is the right side right here. Almost forgot. She's queen mad. Look at, I'm trying to keep it down there and it still wants to shift. Alright, do this quicker. I saw there's a streamer I follow on Twitch who's a cosplayer. And I'm not sure if it's her full-time gig, but she does it, like, that's her full-time streaming, is cosplay. And I saw yesterday that she must be grinding, like, for something. Like, she's, like, trying to get something done in time. And she said, muted stream, it's a work day. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, she actually streams but doesn't talk to chat. She just mutes herself and just does her thing. I was like, I don't think I could do that. I'd be too distracted to see what you guys were talking about. You know that look, right? hate it when I angle my scissors. Like I was just doing this, you know, trimming the threads towards the lining. Like it's so dangerous. All right, I need to back it off a little more. It's too small. Let's give ourselves a little bigger hole. I think that I might bake cookies because I was starting to, like, I had a really great group of friends where I used to live, and but we didn't really do much in the way of like cookie exchanges, except one gal. She would occasionally do this like 14 different cookies, and she'd give us a tin, and I was just like, oh my god, you guys are, yeah, thanks, Megan. Megan's paying attention, man. And I loved it. And so when I see people baking cookies, I'm just like, how do I get in on that? I want cookies. And was it one of you guys saying, oh no, maybe it was someone on Instagram saying that they do a cookie exchange with their mom and their sister, and so they each probably make 2 or 3 different kinds, and then they exchange, so they only have to make 2 or 3 kinds, right? Not 14 different kinds, you know? I was thinking, like, I want that. I think I might make cookies next week before Christmas. I don't have much to do, thankfully. It's manageable. All right, let me just iron this real quick, and then we are putting these pockets on. You've been baking them every night. Kirby! Long time no see, friend. Did you see my text the other day on the Harry Potter mug? You busy girl? This is a Spoonflower fabric. This is Heidi Kenny. So, I'm sure some of you know My Paper Crane on Instagram. This is her fabric. We found a really neat streamer called Crow's Eye Production. They have all those videos of people getting dressed in different eras. Ooh, very cool. Banana bread, coffee bread, carrot cake, and 8 different kinds of cookies. Holy carp. Can I come over? Please, Sherry? You're in Canada, right? I'll be right there. No, Siri, I'm not talking to you. I said Sherry. Okay. So these are our naked pockets. They go right here. We know because where we put the interfacing that as long as we're in within these pins, we're good, right? Let's use bigger pins here to attach. We really want that lining though to be snuck under there. Fudge, oh my gosh. 6 kinds of fudge. I'll take 1 kind of fudge. Do you want my address? This is why you want that hole small. See, it's already kind of wanting to peek out. I'm going to check my pinnings on the other side because remember I have the interlining and I think I'm a little off of it. So let's fix it now actually before we get there. That's so nice, Sherry. Ooh, whoa. An old-fashioned coconut cake. 3 pages of instructions. Are you using the cake Bible? It sounds like a cake Bible. That sounds like a cake Bible recipe if I've ever heard one. I love that book. I really was into baking for a while, just for fun, and my waistline. But I loved that book. If you really wanted something that was gonna be knock your socks off good, that was the book. Like you were guaranteed success. You're like, I really want to either impress or it's for a crowd or it's a wedding or whatever. Because you know she's like catering to that market, the wedding cake baker. But it would have 4 or 6 different recipes inside the recipe, and you're referring back, you know, and yeah, and it's like more than 3 pages long, exactly. That's awesome, Sherry. Oh, peanut butter and chocolate fudge. Oh my god, this is so good. Oh my gosh. You're making coconut extract. Why did I even bring... Did I bring cookies up? Who brought cookies up? You're fired. That's Megan. Oh my god. All right, so do we do the little... How does she attach her pocket? She does do the triangle. Okay. All right, so we have our 2 pockets. I'm going to use my awl to keep poking that lining in there. I'm going to start... I think I'm going to use the seam as my guide. I'm going to go to the bottom of the top stitching. It's very thick. I'm having trouble getting it under my presser foot. So any of you have... Oof. Definitely almost flinch worthy. It's a nice open weave. So this is the thing, when you're doing really thick fabrics like this, it's not as scary as you think because of the weave is open. You're not doing something really tight or thick. It's an open weave and it's locked. Aren't you proud of me for pinning my pocket, you guys? Okay, Cricket's doing better, you guys. Kind of. All right, so because I went down this side, it's a little bit longer now than this side, right? Because it's an open weave, so I'm a little trying to finesse that. Oh, she is been trying to correct a hair dyeing thing. Kind of. She just wanted to dye her hair, but it's in response to something she did like 2 years ago. So, yeah. And she just went today. She's pretty excited because she went a few weeks ago and the guy was like, all right, I want you to come back one more time and we're going to address this thing. And apparently I don't think it went that great. This doesn't look good to me. I do not like this at all. Ooh, I don't like this. This is not staying. Sorry, guys. Ooh, yeah. I really wanted to get to... I want to get to putting the front and back together with the zipper today. That's my goal. Because then I'll leave the lining and sleeves. I feel like that's about half. No, she's not sleeping. Yeah, she's fine. She'll be fine. It's good to see where our interfacing is. We did catch it. It's about 1/4 inch on this side, about 5/8 on this side. I think that I will stitch further into the pocket and not try to imitate what I've been top stitching. I really wanted to get close to the edge because I don't want to be able to pick up the edge and see my lining. So a few years ago, Cricket dyed her hair black. It actually looked really amazing on her. She is I want to call her she has auburn hair, like a strawberry brown hair. Like she has a lot of reddish brown hair. She's not a redhead. There are no redheads in my family. She's definitely got my mom and my sister's hair color. And she dyed it black. And then she decided really soon after, like, she didn't want it like that. And so I was like, oof, I am not paying for that. So But then Michael said, I will pay part of it if you want to get your hair professionally dyed. So she did. She actually went somewhere and the woman did a really good job. But she also had to bleach her hair a little bit, which we all know that's, you start down that path. I thought that woman did a great job, but she didn't because she really wanted her natural hair color back. And that was just not happening, but it looked really good to me. And then it's been a while. She's had it done one more time by someone. So she's just been kind of coloring it, you know. Like I haven't seen her like real natural color in a while, but you know, it's close. And she really wanted that for her birthday to get her hair dyed just because she wants to dye it. It's not like still suffering from the black, but it's definitely, you know, her hair doesn't grow as fast as mine either. So, she went and got it done recently for her birthday, and the woman was like, wow, you're right. Your hair really takes the color, and it turns pink, and Cricket really liked the gal. She was really great with her. But she's like, I want you to come back, and I just wanted to touch up more, but it sounds like she's not really happy with it. But she says she's calming down. She needs purple shampoo, which I buy from Lush, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to share my purple shampoo from Lush. Don't tell anyone I got her some for Christmas. I'm already way at her. Oh wait, we got one. Okay. You have a black, brown to platinum blonde total nightmare. Oh. With extramarital heavy highlights. Wait, is that a typo? I don't know anything about dyeing hair. I think in a way that's the best part about this, that I really don't know much about it. So I am fully neutral, you know. I know, Kirby, isn't it awesome? The way that purple shampoo smells. Has anyone had violet candies? You know, like my grandma ate violet candies when she was a girl, you know. My grandma passed a long time ago too. But if you're ever like at a candy store that has a wide variety of hard to find candies, those violet candies are so good. The ones now, they kind of make me itch. I'm not gonna lie. They make me feel a little weird, but I love it. It smells, that Lush purple shampoo, it's called Daddy-O. It smells just like those violet candies. I can't stress that enough. It smells so, it's like, I'm so glad I don't have to eat those violet candies anymore because I really want them to taste the way they did when I was a kid. You know, they don't. So I just, you know, inhale it in the shower. All right. So far, I feel like this is going to be the hardest thing because it's so prominent, you know? All right. Yeah, what does extramarital highlights mean? Is that just a autocorrect thing? Because it's pretty darn good. Louise and I want to know. Computer, iPad, yeah. I know, I hate typing on the iPad, even though I have the keyboard. This button spacing is different than a regular one, so I'm always like pressing the wrong button. All right. Can I just leave it like this? The person will like that, right? Can I just pin it on? All right, I think I'm gonna come in further this time. You're right. Yeah, just some decorative safety pins, exactly. Now it's white out from you messing with color. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna exaggerate a little bit. I looked up the glitter allergy thing, you guys. Just because I was kind of bored and I needed something to do. I was waiting for something. And that was actually some interesting reading. It seemed a little melodramatic, but apparently it's mica. Mica is what causes people to be allergic to glitter. That looks better, huh? I was too close to the edge. Ay, ay, ay. Get in there. Get in there. So yeah, mica, M-I-C-A, that is what causes a glitter allergy. That's what gives it the sparkle. So it's a mineral, I think. Yeah, it looks better. I was just too close to the edge. I really hope none of the lining shows though. I was a little more nervous too, and that doesn't help. It's okay. It's still not great. I think that this is going to be have to be something I mentally compromise on, because I don't really think without changing machines and feet I can make this look much better. It's so thick. And like Terry has that great top stitching foot. I think that's genius. One more. Right now I'm kind of wishing there were welt pockets. But no, I'm not. All right, let me put it upside down. I can see a little blue there. You see it? I'm not sure, Sydney, personally, but I think that there's different ones for different, I really want to see this. I'm not used to this ruler, so I have to really be careful with it. I'm not sure if I'm getting it right. I think it's different for every machine, but I know some of them will put like a foot along this edge here as well. There's also ones that have a little arm that stick out, so you can make a parallel line. Yeah, so it sounds like Terry's has a guide. Yeah, so the other thing about the glitter allergy is people that have it typically also have an allergy to makeup. I don't wear makeup, but I will say I partly am very uncomfortable physically. It does make me itch. So maybe that's why, but it's not the only reason I don't wear makeup. I just don't like to. I'm kind of too lazy for it, to be perfectly honest. And so, and it being a little itchy, especially on my eyes, makes it not want me to wear it. So that could be it. I don't know though. I don't think my allergy testing covered it. All right, so we're gonna do a better job getting that lining underneath. I want this to be 2 stitches across the top, so I was trying to like angle it a little more. Okay. So I have done strategies with things like this where I pinched the fabric together, the lining in this case, I would pinch the lining together so that it pulled it under. Anyway, it's kind of good that it was kind of pulling away from the edges and not lining up, because it does make it so that it wants to pull a little bit. It's not pulling under much, not like an under collar. You really could, if you wanted to, make this pattern so that it would do this a little bit more naturally. I expect they're not going to do that, like the pattern company, because it's a really confusing thing for someone to see and try and sew. And that kind of explaining is makes your pattern look harder to the end user, and then people don't want to sew it, you know? So, but it is something you could employ where you could shave off 1/8 of an inch all the way around like the 3 sides of your lining and then ease it onto your pocket so that when it turns to this side, it's a little shallower, more like that. And then you don't have the risk of it poking out. Kind of like an undercollar. It is a fussy step, but it would give you a really nice result. These are kind of getting in my way. I can't slide it under as easy. Okay, right, just kind of rolling it like this a little bit to make sure. Oh, I got it again right there. Oof. Oof. See it? Ah, okay, Terry. Yeah, that's what they were saying. I did iron the pocket. Oh, you can get a set. Huh. Yeah, sometimes what I do is also tape on my machine, but this is obviously going to be a little different. I think this one's okay, but I'm not sure. I can actually kind of see it around the edge. I think that's just going to be a thing. You know? Unless I top stitch right on the edge. I don't know. What do you think about that, you guys? See it? Should I fix that? I'm only asking because I want you to say no. Feels nice and sturdy though. That interfacing back there is a great idea. All right, so we'll think about that for a second. No one will notice. Are you just saying that? That's cool, Megan. All right, so now we're going to tackle our zipper. I'm going to think about that. Okay, so we have the community voted, and we're doing this nice little trim here. So we need, let's see, we need this pattern piece and this pattern piece. And this. Okay, so with this zipper, I showed you guys in the cutting video what this little decorative piece is, and so we're going to put this one on the front and this one on the underside. I only had to do that because otherwise I would have ruined a full yard of fabric cutting straight through all the flowers. Yeah, I know, Terry, exactly. So, oh, yeah, see? Oh, that needs to be fixed. I don't think I want to make this coat now. But, you know, Sherry, you could make those pockets without the lining in the pocket. You could also match the lining to the pocket. There's a lot of strategies you could do to make it easier than that. You could, you know, leave it off and then just put like a stay stitch around the edge, and then it would turn under right there. So yeah, there's some ways to get around that. Okay, so my biggest problem with this zipper is that it's not 22 inches. It is bigger. And how do I measure things again? I don't think I have a way to measure. So it's 26. So we're going to pull it down this. Right here. Okay, roughly right there. Yeah, I was pushing it in there. But I think when you look at that spot, I come down and then I turn the corner. And so as I'm turning the corner, what it's doing is pushing everything like this and making that underlining roll like this. That's what it looks like. So, all right, so we're going to need to shorten this a little bit. Let me just make sure that this is actually the length. Yeah, so you definitely don't want it past that. So I'm gonna fold it and stitch it down, or at least pin it. I think I'm gonna stitch it right there. Like this, and I'm gonna cut it off too. Between those. I really worry about zippers not being even, you know. It's kind of fiddly. And you could sit here and count the teeth and everything, but I'm going to tell you, you can't get it perfectly even because the teeth are offset from each other, right? So even if I try and fold this exactly where this other one is, it's not going to. It's always going to be either above it or below it. So be nice to yourself. Do your best. I remember once it's sewn into the jacket, you probably won't notice it because it'll be either zipped or unzipped. Just want to catch it so that's pretty secure right there before I cut it off. But I kind of want more. That didn't sew as nice as the other side did. Putting your, do you ever find like when you have something like this, like these teeth, and you put it the back under your presser foot, then it won't move or pull because it gets sunk into the feed dogs, you know? Yeah, exactly, Sherry. That is exactly it. That Melton is so forgiving. It just like pushed it. Oozes over. Let's see, did I catch it? I am catching it. Look how nice that looks. I'm just being careful because, you know, I don't really want the zipper head to fly off. That would be bad. Okay, so you can unzip your zipper. Separating zipper. And I'll do this one first. And then I think I did this so that these are going to match up. Look at this, you guys. Okay. So let's see. Sometimes I take the side out the pull to start. Align the zipper and one of the zipper band pieces. This is the zipper band piece. So the top and bottom stops of the zipper are quarter inch, half inch from either end of the band. Okay. So you're kind of centering the right sides of the zipper and band should be facing. Facing each other or facing? That's kind of confusing. Yeah, so I think you put it wrong side to right side like this. Now, because I folded it over, I just have to worry when I come down right here that I don't hit this the teeth. So So let's see if I can find a guide over here. We have our line right here. So let's see, it's actually this way. This is how it is. Right? It goes like this. Nope, I think it is like that. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, this is how it is. I really planned the way the flowers are going to be. And so I made it so that when the 1/2 inch seam allowance is gone, it sits right on this edge of the flower. So I'll baste it the way she recommends. Oh, she says a 1/2 inch from the top and the bottom, but mine's a little further away than that. See that? So we'll center it. No, I'm not going to center it. It doesn't matter because you're going to want to finish it top and bottom. So it'll just be a little shortened. I wish I would have known that. I wouldn't have shortened the zipper as much, you know? So. My paper is, oh my gosh. Sorry. What the heck? Thank you, Megan. Megan is my lighting assistant. All right. I'm kind of pulling the zipper kind of snug and leaving this a little limp because in my experience what happens is the zipper is less forgiving and then the fabric gets it gets too long. It gets pushed out. All right, so we're just basting this on. All right. So now I'm going to put this piece, which is the underside, and we're going to sew around the shorter, the longer, and the other end. It's kind of interesting that there's no interfacing on this, in my opinion. I thought there would be. I'm going to try and keep these teeth out of there for now. Yeah, it's not going to want to sew right there, so we're going to go. We'll start down here. I touched it. You wanted me to, didn't you? The lighting? Is that what you're talking about? Okay, so they lined this edge up with the zipper bottom. I find it really hard to sew near the zipper when it makes it uneven. Good thing I can't give Megan remote control over my lighting. But maybe it would be good. You guys could, you know, tell me, because I don't know what it looks like at home. All right, so I'm gonna approach it from here. I'm going to try and peel this zipper away. All right, so I'm going to look at this side and see where my stitching is because it's supposed to be in the middle of this circle. So let's do the proper seam allowance now because I didn't obviously. I thought I was doing half, but I was too focused on something else. Okay. Anytime I'm clipping corners, something like this, I'm going to reinforce it. machine's really loud today. Night, Malin. You didn't want me to mess with it? Wasn't it like too bright? Okay. Wait. Yeah. I'm definitely taking my time with this thing, aren't I? All right, so now you have your zipper band, right? Like this. It's just a little peak of color. We're gonna iron it. Like this. It's just barely there once it's ironed. And we don't see the underside like that. Stream's over. I lost the other side of the zipper. Here we go. Okay, so this is how this one goes. So I lined it up there, that. I based it from this side so I can stitch going down it so that it kind of distributes the same as the other one did. And I want this to end in the same spot. So it's about 3/4 of an inch past this blue bar right here. Right now it's more important to just stay to match the other side, right? Oh, after I mess with it, it comes to be right out? Oh, really? I thought it was the paper that did it. Yeah, exactly, Terry. I mean, I think like if you're intimidated about putting a zipper in, this is actually the easy way to do it on a coat. And separating zippers are, funnily, they can be a little easier to sew in because they're separate. You know, you don't have that bottom to deal with. Yeah, it does add a little zing. See, aren't you glad I noticed that? I mean, the fact that I hadn't noticed that in the pattern at all, ow, it's kind of nuts. Ooh, I feel like something bad's about to happen. Here we go. All right, because this is the side with the head, it's going to give me a little bit of trouble. I'm going to need to move this around a little bit. Okay. So let's sew this with the proper seam allowance from the beginning. And I think what I'm going to do, what lines right up with that, is I'm just checking it out. I'm going to pull this zipper away like this. I'm just going to move it out of the way. You don't need it enclosed. You don't want it enclosed because it's separating. So it doesn't matter. I mean, honestly, you don't even have to put the zipper in here yet. You could put it in afterwards. See, you could put the zipper on after you sew this piece. This is kind of a fussy way to do this. I'm going to sew it on this side so I can see the center of the dots this time. You see, like, I'm not even sewing the zipper. I'm not encasing it in anything yet. So you could add it last. Honestly, it's just kind of in the way. You know what I mean, jelly beans? You think that this is in bespoke tailoring? I don't know. I don't think I ever do anything that on the tailoring level at all. Like, and I'm not saying that in a self-deprecating way. It's just such a different style of sewing, you know. I kind of played around with it. I think when you're a new sewist, not new, but when you're a sewist and you kind of keep expanding your skill set, you start experimenting with all the different types of sewing there are. And, you know, it's like, oh, I want to do fancy dresses, or I want to do, you know, embellished things, or coats, or just dresses, or undergarments, or tailoring, you know. So I'm going to iron this now. Then we'll see what it really looks like. Okay. I think I'm going to iron this like I do French seams first. Now I know it would have looked better if I would have done both on both sides, but like I said, I would have probably used a whole yard of fabric just for this little spot, these little two things, because of where these flowers were about this far apart from each other. So that would have been one, and then I would have done another. So it was almost like 7/8 of a yard, I think. And I was like, eh. You know. So I thought I would just do the other cool flower. Okay. So I just pressed the seam open so that it's really easy now to press flat. And I'm going to do it from the wrong side so I can see a little bit of the right side poking out from under there. And I know it got a little narrow there, but it's because of my seam allowance. I wanted to fix it to match the dots. We'll make sure it's straight. Okay, so now we have one. All right, now let's do this one. Brian, are you still here? What's the name of the jacket and the company you're sewing again? I wanted to look it up. I forgot. Twig and Tail Forester Coat. That's it. That sounds so regal. The Twig and Tail. So this is how it'll look when the coat is like unzipped, you know, just relaxed. It's not perfect though. I mean, if it goes good, it goes good, right? If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, it actually works in certain places and it doesn't in others, so don't do this. But when it's zipped, is this right? I don't think this is right. This isn't right. This isn't right. I think I just did that opposite. But that's okay. Oh. Hi, Julia. How's it going? I think I just did that wrong. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Oh, I did do it wrong. I sewed it like the band is underneath it. Because see, when you do this right here, I had this sitting like this when I laid it out, remember? So then I sewed that edge. Wow. And the whole time I was thinking, why would you do this way if you don't need the zipper to be in there? I'm sorry, you guys. This is what happens when I'm kind of like trying to be really careful with things, you know? Because then I start making mistakes. How are you, Julia? I have not made much headway on this coat because I keep doing the little things or I keep wanting to change something, so. But Julie, I did want to pass along that the person who this is getting really appreciated your feedback on the fabric and the zipper. Oh, that's awesome. So I met this gal at a quilt thing on Monday, and they were doing a show and tell, and her show and tell was that she's making a Christmas tree skirt, and it's all patched together, pieced together, and it's in a, you know, it's a circle, and it's like in pie sections, and each section is a different color of the rainbow, but all different little pieces of fabric. It's so pretty. It was so cute. I was like, that's the tree skirt I want. I'm really sorry, you guys. If you were sewing along with me, I'm really sorry. I had that upside down, and I knew I did that, and then I was like, that's okay. And it's okay. Yeah. Oh, well. I was thinking the whole time, like, why would you even put the zipper on here? Okay, so the next step after you do this, once you have the zipper and it's coming out this edge right here, this whole thing sits on something like this. Like, this would be this piece here, and it sits on a band behind it. And that's what I was picturing for some reason. I don't know why. It's like I'm finally getting to sew this coat, and I'm relaxing too much. Is this the side with the double stitching? Yeah, it is. Okay, that's why. Tell me a story. Yeah, I need a homemade tree skirt, I think. I had one and I was like, this is okay. I just got it because it was the only thing I could find. And then I found one I kind of liked that was kind of cute and folky. And, but it's not handmade. You just can't make it all, you know? And I just don't put that pressure on myself. Not anymore. I used to. Dang, we should be way farther today. I know I shouldn't worry about it, but I am. I'm not worried, but you know. I really want this to be done on Saturday because I don't want to have to wait until next year to finish it. You know what I'm saying? So it's finished on this Saturday, you guys. Either that or I'll be streaming on Christmas Eve. While you all are, you know, sitting cozy by the campfire, reveling over all of your handmade stuff being done, eating Christmas cookies that you baked, watching my stream. Thankfully, I have a big stitch right now. I can't recut this one. It would take too long. Fussy yo. Hey, Brooke. I don't know when you commented that. How's it going? I can kind of see a little bit of twitch. Santa stopped by early, Kirby? What does that mean? Did you just get a present? Okay. Made out of trees and nature prints. Like it was a fabric, or it was made out of like pieces of tree. I guess it wouldn't be a piece of tree. Yeah. Okay. That was the harder one. I always start with the worst one. Remember that time when you guys were all like, wow, you use a seam ripper? Now you're like, God damn. When did she not use that dang seam ripper? Yeah, so this, I don't know why I just got confused on this. That's funny. Ah, I got you a sewing table. Neat. So your machine fits down inside. If that's the case, Kirby, I should show you a picture of my So Steady table. It was so affordable, and it fills in the gap around your machine, you know, like say this is your table and your machine fits in the receptacle, and then like that gap, you just send them your machine model and the opening of your table, and they make this clear table. Yeah, that's really cool. It's like a little clear glass. It's not glass, but you know, it's clear. And I had one from my machine, but it was in this really brittle clear material, and the little lip that set on the table was almost all broken off. I had to tape it on once because I was so nervous about it falling through during a stream. And so then they were at the store, they were like, you know, we can order one of those for you. And they did, and it was fast, and it was really affordable. It was like, wow. And it's called So Steady Tables. I need to work on sponsorships, you guys. That's awesome, Bryant. You really like it? So did you just do all that? Like you just told them your machine and stuff? And yeah, because they knew my machine, and then they said, "Can you measure the diameter of the hole of your table again?" And I told them, because they were like, they're usually only a few sizes, and they were right. I had missed it by like a 1/4 inch or something. Yeah, exactly, Terry. Yeah, they fit in there really good. Oh, can someone sing a song? I'm trying to figure out why my neck gets kind of tired after streaming. I think it's my core. I think my core is too weak. I mean, my core is too weak. I'm just trying to figure if that's why my neck hurts. I know my core is too weak right now. Well, I hope Maggie likes our new place, you guys. We need a seam ripping song, Brooke said. It's the Miller Time song. For those of you who are new here, we learned that the inventor of the seam ripper's last name was Miller. That was a fun stream. That's so cool, Bryant. Yeah, that was my experience too. I think they're even made in the United States. Those So Steady tables. Don't quote me on that, but I know the one that was in my machine before was. Okay, almost done, guys. The second time's always faster. Drink. Did someone do the command? Did my Juki come with this table? Yeah. So the Juki and the table, you can buy them separately, but there would be very little reason to do that. But you can like get, like I could get a replacement table of like the motor, because the motor's on the table, not the machine. You know what I mean? And then obviously there's a lot of electronics that are kind of connecting them together. Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool, Sherry. Ooh, what did you ask for a specific iron, Kirby? We've been talking a lot about irons lately. Mainly because I was very uncreative and I just got the same iron I've always had. Sherry, you know, this Juki, if you don't get the electronics with the heel lift and the automatic back tack, it's about $700, I think, or $800. I'm not just trying to say like $700 or $800 isn't cheap, but if you compare it to what a home sewing machine costs, that's pretty cheap for a good like a machine that's this good, you know. You can't really get something comparable. So yeah, with the electronics and all that, mine was $1,800, and I still would go toe to toe to someone saying that you can't find a home machine as good as my machine for that price. But I don't have a buttonhole, I don't have zigzag, I don't have any of that. And I understand. That's the limitations. You can get an industrial machine with a zigzag. You probably wouldn't do a buttonhole with it though, because you can't drop the feed dogs. And that's what helps you do a buttonhole, is that you can stitch in place without the feed dogs pulling the fabric. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if you need to travel, obviously my machine isn't a good fit for you either. But I have friends that have the tabletop Jukis. They really love them, and they, I'm not sure if they travel with them because I think they're pretty heavy, but they might. It is their primary machine. But I know people that have really inexpensive little travel machines they end up loving a lot. Just depends on your use. I'm not a quilter, so it's not something I'm really thinking about is the travel component, but I just try and remind people, like, if you're doing all of it, then you might want to, don't forget the fact that you might need it to travel if you can't keep your other machine you're upgrading from, because sometimes people, you know, they sell that machine in order to help pay for the next one. And if you don't have the space to keep all your machines, you know, we have mini factories in our houses, you know. You happy I ironed, Megan? I hate, you know, pulling threads out, but I also love it. It's so satisfying. I just wish I didn't have an audience. You know? People waiting on me. You told me you had one, so I looked into them. What? Oh, a Rowenta. Cool, yeah. I like my Rowenta. It's $80 at Target, you know? And the steam's really good on it. But yeah, you can get really nice, fancier irons. I like, you know, I like good tools, but I like things to be really accessible too. People really love those also. Doesn't one of you have an also? Terry has a gravity feed machine. We're all kind of envious of that. No, not machine, iron. Okay, here we go. Maybe I can get my flowers to line up a little better this time. But the good news is the zipper is going to be in the way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Megan, are you the one that got the, oh, I don't think that was you, the one at like the drugstore for $25 and love it? Okay, so hopefully if you're watching this and, you know, you future people, tell us what it's like in the future, and then you fast forward to this point. You just don't run out as water as much, and I think you can. It's easier to refill because you can carry the water tank to the faucet. which is really nice. All right, this is the right side, right? This is the right side. Right meaning correct, facing up. But it's the left side of the zipper. This is the right side of the zipper and it's facing up. So this one goes to this one. This one goes to this one. And this time I think I'm going to sew this so that I am doing this all at once. I think it's better. So when you fold back your tape, make sure you line up your tape, this edge, to the edge of the fabric, because a lot of times this little folded edge kind of sticks past. Okay. I'm gonna pin it a little bit because when my experience when I'm sewing zipper in between layers is that it ooches around and gets misaligned. Like the top layer of fabric doesn't end up lining up with the bottom layer of the fabric by the time I get to the bottom. All right, so this is actually wrong. I'm already doing this wrong. No, wait, that's right. This is the right side. Yeah, okay. I'm doubting everything now. Okay. Sorry. So this is the left side of the zipper. And so this is going to be the side that shows. So if this is on your left side, this piece of fabric is the piece of fabric that's going to show to the world. Just to keep track. A Jack A4 straight stitch. I've never heard. Are you the gal who got your machine recently? I think it was being delivered like the day you were watching the stream. Is that you? And how is it? I can't remember who that was. I have never heard of a Jack, and I think you even showed me, like I found whoever that was on Instagram and saw the machine. I've never heard of that brand. You don't have to get a Juki, folks. There are a lot of great machines out there. Rodent's iron. I am loving your new iPad, Megan. Oh, that was you, Brown Sugar. That's right. So the A4 and the I have to check these out. All right. So this time I will be going over the tape of my zipper. So buckle up, kiddos. I'm so close to my trimmed edge that I'm reinforcing this. I'm a little worried about it. Okay, I'm going to walk my foot over the teeth. I may need my zipper foot. Because look, that's my seam allowance right there. Right now my foot is on the teeth of the zipper. This is, oh dang it, I took out my needle. Kind of a bumpy day, aren't I, you guys? Oh, you have the vacuum board, Julia? I've been trying to explain that. How do you like that? That's cool. So what is the jack? Oh my gosh, Sydney. You had taken the... Oh my gosh. So wait, the new machine slid out the back? or your old machine and he wants to replace it. It's got a wrinkle. All right, so note to self, this has a 1/2 inch seam allowance, but the zipper tape isn't set up for that. I'm getting little wrinkles that I'm going to sort out later. It's one of the only times you'll see me pin like this too. Oh man. Oh, that's good. I'm glad it survived. Things are so much more resilient than we realize sometimes. All right, so here's the bottom of my zipper tape. I'm gonna walk it just to make sure. Oh yeah, see, I think that if you're doing this, you should interface these pieces with fusible interfacing. I think that's kind of a mistake. Oh my gosh, that must have been quite a slope. All right, let's see here. This, now we're talking. Like even when I sewed that first one, it looked right to me. Okay. This looks so much better. Yeah. You know, anytime you sew it correctly, it looks better. Right? Look at that. This is so funny to me. It's not funny, but it's funny. My goodness. Okay. So, same thing. This must be the top. Okay, so this is the left side of the zipper. And am I sewing this right? God, I'm so confused. I'm gonna sew from the bottom up just because I really want to get my flowers kind of lined up, you know. I'll pull the zipper pull out of the way. And again, hang on to your hats. I'm actually gonna pull the zipper out for a second because this stop is so thick, I can't even get by it. And now I'm gonna put it in here. Sorry, I keep slamming my machine. Okay, so it's so much touchier than my old machine. I'm gonna get going, and now I'm gonna arrange it. Like this at the top. Having the pre-sewn edge is kind of a good guide. I gotta be an optimist about it, you know? No, there's gonna be a second part for sure. Saturday. I need to finish it by Saturday. That's my goal. It's already 1:30. Okay. I really wanted to get the front and the zipper in, shoulders together. I need to adjust the sleeve length on the pattern pieces. I may need to. I just need to measure them. So I want to make sure, because I didn't have that measurement originally. So now I do, and I want to make sure it's going to fit her. And so that leaves a bit to do on Saturday. But the good news is, like, the toggles are the buttons and buttonholes, right? Oh, God, yeah, exactly. I feel like I've had that experience. Those Olfa mats, man, they're whippery. I'm getting little wrinkles. I don't want these little wrinkles. I am fighting it here. Oh, good. I have a little room here. All right, so time to walk now. I don't think I made the corner. I don't think I made the corner. Let's see. All right, that might be okay. Night, Louise. Right, Julia? Right, Terry. Toggles over pedals any day. Sherry. Do you want me to take longer? He can make dinner. Just tell him to get started. My husband does a lot of the cooking, and sometimes what I would do, because I didn't know what his plan was I would just start heating a pan with oil in it and chopping an onion. Because most likely he's going to use both. All right, let's see how this looks, guys. But as soon as I did the other one, I was like, yep, that was wrong. Not bad. What do you guys think? It's okay. See that? I know you guys are going to be like, it's fine, but 1/2 inch seam allowance is not the correct seam allowance with this zipper tape. And this is standard zipper tape. You should, if I would have known I should have been using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I would have fussy cut this puppy differently. Oh, perfect, Sherry. God, that sounds so good. Your kids are still in school, Megan. I'm so jealous. It doesn't feel fragile. Like, I lined it up pretty good, but I don't know. You're not going to see it either. It's going to have a, this is over it. You know? In fact, I think, right? Something like that. I don't know, you guys. Looks pretty good as far as lineup wise, considering those teeth are gigantic. I want to see what's next. Take the stitch to center front band and fold each in half with right sides facing each other. Fold on top and bottom edges, grade the seam, clip the corners, turn the right side down, press the seams, along the edges. Okay. Okay, for the right side, it goes that way. So one goes over and one goes under. Dang, I want spaghetti now. I had spaghetti for lunch after the stream yesterday. Okay, so this one goes over like this, I think. And then this one goes under. So then when you open up your zipper, like that, you know? That's how it'll look. That sounds good. Olive Garden dressing and chicken, Parmesan cheese, and little garlic. So yummy. So did you put all that in the slow cooker without the spaghetti? Thanks, Brooke. They're all talking about food on YouTube. They're watching a cooking stream in the background. Just easy. All right, so we are here, page 17 out of 150 pages. So this also has the interfacing in it right here. And then we have our jacket. Let's iron these really quick so they lay nice and flat. Check out if I actually have tucks or not, because from my experience, those little things sometimes aren't really tucks when you're trying to ease the fabric in. Get rid of all the threads. This is the back of the zipper. Pretty cool. You know? My husband's so sweet to me lately. Like, I said something like, dang it, I'm kind of craving a peppermint hot chocolate. And he had to run out in the evening for something. And he brought me one back. And it, God, it hit the spot so much. I have a little tuck right here I need to deal with. And then Cricket was leaving. She leaves every evening to hang out with someone. And I was like, are you going by anywhere that's going to have like a peppermint mocha? I feel like that kind of, she's like, oh, maybe. And then he went and got me another one. And then another night, I said something like, I really want cranberry orange bread or something. I can't remember what it was. I really wanted it. And he went and saw Maggie, and then he brought home cranberry pistachio biscotti, and he brought home an apple cranberry tart. I know. Yeah. But, you know, when you're about to scan yourself for your Beatrice form, you might want to lay back on the, you know, worst month of the year for that. Okay, I'm taking off my zipper foot. I'm hungry. Yeah, he's a nice guy. Boy. Okay, where are those spots with the tucks? There's one right here. This is the one, right, that I was thinking about. sometimes you have these little like easing tucks because, you know, the zipper tape wants to do something different than the fabrics do. And you can actually kind of smooth them out without even taking out the seam. And see, now it's gone. Just so that's why I didn't worry about that. This is my experience with zipper tape. Zipper tape wants to do its own thing. And so I have this little tiny tuck right here, and I just ease the fabric in there, and then it's fine. And I probably only figured this out because I was really frustrated one day. I was just like, oh my God, I finally got in there. No, there's a tuck. And then I looked at it and I was like, wait, maybe I could kind of, you know, because see, look at how big that one is. Right there, right? So what it is it's like a little pleat in the stitches. Now these stitches are kind of big, so it is a little bit forgiving, but you can kind of, I find it's better with like a fingernail or a flatter thing, not the awl, that's something pointy. So now the tuck is gone. You can see a little bit of the wrinkle, but you'd be able to iron that out and see on the outside, there's not a tuck. So that's my little weird tip. It's kind of hard to explain unless you see it in action. But anytime I have 2 layers of cotton with the zipper tape, the cotton tends to want to buckle on it, because I'm trying not to let this one get longer than the top one or the zipper do that. You know, I'm trying to keep all 3 layers the same. And so this is my experience with this. 2 more. Yeah, I literally had 4 tucks on this and it's gonna work. So that's awesome, Sherry. Megan. Yeah, that wouldn't fly. We pay for gas. So part of the privilege of having a car you didn't have to pay for is you are now beholden to running errands. Right now she has my truck because her car is getting new brakes in the shop, and so she's got my truck. And so I had a quarter tank. Literally a quarter tank would last me 2 weeks because my house is a mile away, and in the summer I walk a lot. So I think I've filled my truck since I've owned it maybe 6 times. Maybe. Probably not. And that's like not including my trip away for the weekend, you know? So when I gave it to her, I was like, it only has a quarter tank, but that would last me 2 weeks. That would not last her 2 weeks, you know? And so she's like, well, maybe I'll put a little bit of my money in there. And I was like, fill it up. Okay, I'm taking way too long on this. All right. So let's see. You can see a little bit of the interfacing poking out, which is kind of weird to me. I'm not sure why this is. And I think what you're seeing is this is the folded edge right here. So I just wanted to see, I think this is about to be explained, because see how this is more than half? Yeah, so that is what you're seeing is the folded edge of the interfacing coming to the other side. Because I thought it was binding, you know, at first. I was like, what? Okay, so you're gonna, I'm gonna tack it on here because mine's not iron on, it's the horsehair. So I'm just gonna tack it on here like this. I'm not gonna stitch the whole perimeter, only because we are going to do that once it's all been sewn. So I don't really want to stretch it out too much by stitching that down this long edge, because that might be what would happen with this wool. So I'm just going to stitch this down so that it thinks it's ironed on. Wait, yeah, this is the right side. And now I'm going to fold it right sides together at the top and the bottom and sew across. I know, right, Brooke? It was really nice. He did not need to do it. I'm almost like one night I said something like something sounded good, and I thought, oh my God, he's being so nice to me. He might get that, and I almost texted him, don't go and get this, because I had no idea he left the house twice to do that. You know, like he did it as a surprise. He doesn't have a sweet tooth at all, so it's nice that he indulges mine. You know? Okay, so here's one. All right, and this is, I'm definitely going to want to make sure I keep this lined up with the edge so that it rolls on that little fold line right there, you know? Okay, so we have one. I'm really liking this horsehair, to be honest. You know, I like how well behaved it is. I don't know how else to put it. I like how stiff it is, how well behaved it is. I like how it's fabric. I don't know. It's really appealing. Yeah, thank you, Megan. You are right. I am so glad. I was thinking, I almost didn't. You know, I'm more worried, Sherry, that what if I lost weight and my dress form didn't fit? You know? Okay. Might need to grade these seams as well. Don't think that my way of sewing things is better. If you're reading the instructions word for word and you feel like doing how they do it, do it. Okay. Yep, grade the seams, clip the corners. Please note that the interfacing will fall 1/2 inch past the center front fold of the bands. You know what, Julia? Are you still here, Julia, by any chance? I thought of you yesterday because I read something I thought you might find interesting. Are you still here? So I was reading the, I was telling these guys earlier that I was reading on the Grainline Studio website about I was trying to find information about interlining. And one of the interesting things they talked about was exactly what you said yesterday about your lining wearing out. And they said that that's what's supposed to happen, right? So when you're lining, because the lining isn't very expensive and you can replace it. And so that is the part that's supposed to wear out. It's protecting the coat against you, you know? All right, so I think I'm gonna do it from this side. I think it'll be easier actually. Trying to get this to lay nice and flat. I didn't fuse this, so it wants to kind of rebel. See, I'm trying to get this to do this. That's why it's doing that. This is when you kind of want to notch on these really long pieces. You kind of want to notch, and there might be one. And that way you know when you're going directly across from the other one, and you don't make this one longer than the under side. If it were fused, I wouldn't have that issue. Why does that feel so weird? I am going to stitch this down. It's too much of a battle. I'm just not going to stitch it maybe as continuously as I could. I'm just going to stitch this along the edge so that because the horsehair is it's very stiff in a way. It's very bouncy, like it pushes back. I don't know how to describe it. It's like you can see when it bends, like it doesn't even wrinkle. I may have to edge stitch the this piece. All right. Yeah, replacing it is challenging. I totally agree with you. But, you know, at least it's an option if you're really in love with the coat and the outer coat is still okay. You know? I know, I hate doing alterations to ready-made stuff too. This is what the person that I'm making it for sent. I think with this wool melton, it's actually kind of a good idea. I find fusible interfacing, they're just not very reliable over the long haul, you know? Like, I think, like, also fusing it to wool, I really wouldn't want to iron and steam the heck out of the wool, you know? That could have other repercussions. So I think it was a good choice. It just means that it's a little fussier maybe to sew because you're adding them as you go. And then one of the, oh shoot, I'm not too late. The armhole facings. So yeah, there are a couple pieces you might want to use the fusible on. And I wouldn't want to do it also because I don't want it to show on the outside. Like I wouldn't want it to be a different texture. I meant to not stitch this all the way down. I did. I think I can still add them because they're not fused, so that's good. But yeah, I forgot. All right, so I'm trying to make sure that this doesn't get torqued. So I try and push this over here, keep it nice and straight across from itself. This wool's very well behaved. It doesn't really want to do that, thank goodness. For an open weave, you know? So. Tutorial alert. What? Oh, I agree. Redoing a lining. Yeah, but every coat's different. I bet there's actually a tutorial on that. We did it at the alteration shop. It was something I kind of loved and hated because it was really exciting to take it apart and see the inside. But at the same time, you never know what was going to be in there or what was going to happen. All right, so I'm going to follow this kind of carefully. So this is the left front. I knew that, and then I second guessed it. Okay, so here's my right front. Interfacing that towards the coat. What? The right side of the coat, this is the right side. Align one of the front bands along the front opening of the coat with the interface side of the band toward, yeah, okay. The interface band side of the band support. I think you put it 1/2 inch below. Getting thick, you guys. Base this band and place the 1/4 inch seam allowance. That would have been good for the zipper tape. All right, I'm just checking it, making sure that it actually is almost exactly a 1/2 inch away. So let's make it a 1/2 inch away. 1/2 inch, that's it? How am I gonna do the hem? Oh, there's facings. Look at that. There's hardly any room. I'm doubting right now. Okay, so it says the base with a 1/4 inch seam. You're just doing the band at this point. Because this is the right, and it's going to go over it, okay? All right, so let's paste this on here. It fits really well. The thing is, like, I hope all this stitching actually does fit inside my seam allowance of that zipper band, because it's not a 1/2 inch, you know? It looks super tight. I know, right? For the hem. But it has a hem facing. So that's what I'm thinking, is that you put the hem facing on and you enclose it. That's where you get the hem. There's no, it's a seam here, in other words, not a hem allowance. So it's okay. All right, there's that. I'm doing this very carefully because I'm so punchy right now. Okay, so now I take this is the left, and this is the right. Yeah, with the pole. Take the one with the pole and place that on top of the band. You just attach the right front. The branch sit evenly between the top and bottom. Again, paste through all layers. Okay, yeah. So do this. But what the heck? It doesn't go all the way down to there. Oh, because they're showing view A. Okay. I'm just going to make sure there's not a view B thing. Ooh, we get to do it. See, I'd hoped to get to here, but we're not going to get to here. I really wanted to put the toggles on. I'm so excited to put those on. Okay. See, so this stops before the hem, but where they don't say where to line this up. I know. Hi, Eliza. How's it going? I'm just making sure. Yeah. I've definitely been taking my time, and then I keep making like weird little mistakes or things. I'm like, I don't really like that. Right now, I don't see though where you line this up. Now take the half of the zip with the pole and place that on top of the band you just attached. And look, it shows it a 1/2 inch above. You know? So I'll put this a 1/2 inch below here, but that's not going to go down to there, and it's not supposed to, but still, they don't really say where else to line it up, so. Oh, I don't have to deal with the seam allowance of the zipper. Yeah, that's right. Hi, Jan. Oh my goodness. I was just thinking about you yesterday. How are you? How's the weather in San Diego? The zipper turned out pretty good, Eliza. Like you were there when we were picking out the fabrics yesterday, right? So yeah, where's one? Here's one half. It's such a nice color with this coat, you guys. I can't wait for you to see the picture like on Instagram. I feel like it's more accurate for color when I do the after the you know, the after picture after the stream. Getting punchy. Aw, nice. They must be really excited about Christmas. I mean, most kids are, if they celebrate it. Okay, so here's one side. It'll be like that. I almost want to stitch this down. I'm going to think about it. Okay, here is our other one. So now we have the one that goes underneath. So I'm pretty sure we are going to set this one. So the side that has the interfacing of your band is going to be up. This one goes like this. So I really want to make sure I get this lined up well. So let's just zip it. Let's not drop the ball now. Right? That's barely gonna make it, but the toggle's out. Do you mean like right here? I think this will be top stitched. 2 weeks yesterday. Wow. Dang. Gonna look at it. I don't like these long seams. They're always really tricky to get lined up. I feel like erring on this being just a tad under is better than it being sticking up behind this, you know? I'm just looking at it from the top down. I think like this seam allowance will get a little bit bigger, but so will this one. It's starting to feel heavier now. Yes, I know, right, Eliza? It was good. Yeah, the gal really liked it. We're just putting it on the zipper, not the hood though. I'm going to match this up too. I'm going to put it right to there, no matter what. No matter what, it's going to make it to there. And I think I can do that. Look at that. There are advantages to taking my time. I have so many threads. I was just making sure they're not sticking on the seam. If you have a walking foot or a needle feed, you're probably really happy you bought it at this stage. Now I didn't add like interlining to like this pattern piece, but it is on the regular coat. Okay. So now this one gets attached. It's really the zipper making it heavy because this feels pretty light. I just had a heart attack and I thought that was the neck. This was the center front on this side. I was like, so far so good. You know, doing these top stitch, you could definitely feel the thickness. You know, like this one. You can see all those layers, and I graded the seams. It'll start adding up pretty soon. I was thinking like down here at the hem, you know, but I think it's gonna all be good. Right, Eliza? Exactly. All right, so I'm just triple checking here. Ah, see, I just did that. Okay. Align the coat fronts and transfer the exact placement of the zipper and front band to the left side of the coat to ensure perfect placement. You got it. You're going to put it right sides together. I actually did this a little reverse. I did this to this, and now I'm doing this, the whole thing to the coat. They have you do this first to the coat, and then this. This was a little easier to position having a smaller piece, I think. So now I could be a little more concerned about, yeah, this is pretty thick right here. With these seams right here, with your yoke seam and your waist seam matching going across the jacket. So that is something, I think how I'll deal with this. So the good news is with that band down the front, it's going to interrupt that line. So if you're a tiny bit off, don't fret too much. It probably won't even be noticeable. But I do want it, at least at the bottom, to be lined up, right? I need the band. Oops. I need the band to line up across the coat, you know, this way. So we'll just put a little notch in this flannel right here. But this band lines up across the coat like that. And that way I can match this little edge here up to that little nip I made in the flannel right there. Like that. And this is my non-negotiable spot. So far everything matches really easily. I'm not too worried about it. But see like how that's a little looser? That's exactly why we did that. Because otherwise we might have just put it on and stretched it. Or not stretched it, but it would have been in it higher up. The flannel is an interlining just for an added layer of warmth. And I put the flannel, like the fuzzy side, towards the wrong side of the fabric so that the lining can glide over the flannel as easy as possible. Ooh, this is getting thick. The only layer left to add to this is the lining, I'm pretty sure, right here, so we're okay. The facing goes to the lining. So actually it'll be one more layer of wool. Pretty sure. I'm a little off right here with the flannel, so let's just trim this. There's my nip in the flannel. It is a little bit bigger. That's why I'm easing it in there. And then this needs to go about a ½ inch above the edge there. I think it could, Eliza. I think a domestic, I don't know. I feel like domestics have really come a long way. Like what I see people sew on them, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I would do that on mine, but shoot, maybe I'm underestimating my machine, you know, and I'm used to an industrial, right? But I think that you would probably go forward cautiously. I hand walked my machine like over the zipper teeth because I had to shorten it, and so that means I had to like go over the teeth right there. All right, so now this is right now how it looks. So like that. I didn't get the flowers quite lined up correctly. Like I fussy cut them perfectly, but the seam allowance that they give you for this is not quite right for the zipper tape. So my fussy cutting didn't work out as good as it could have. See how much narrower this one is than this one though? So I'm thinking this seam allowance is going to get a little bigger. It doesn't mean it's going to come over all the way here though, so I need to make sure I pay attention that that actually covers it up. You know? Feels like it will. You're like walking to work, looking all cozy and camel, and then you're like, shabang! The lines are pretty good. I just didn't like this. The seam was supposed to go right here. Trying not to let it bug me. It might. I may fix it. Because this means that this facing got wider because the seam allowance wasn't correct. So I may need to make it narrower. I'm going to think about that. I have a day. I really love it when I have a whole day between Thursday and Saturday when I'm doing these big projects. So, you know, I'm going to stop there, you guys. I'm going to look at putting my interfacing right here on the armhole because I didn't use fusible. I have to do it as I go, and I didn't include it in this seam here, so I'm going to add it now. And then, or maybe use a fusible. I don't know if I'll use a fusible though. And then we have our back as well. Next, I think, is the shoulder seams. Then it feels like a coat, and then the sleeves. So Yeah, it's cozy. Cozy. Yeah, I'm gonna make that narrower. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, it's kind of bugging me. I'm gonna fix this side. Yeah, Friday. I have a whole, what did I say? I love it when I have a whole day between Thursday and Saturday. What did I say? That's what I meant to say. I have a whole day, like I have Friday. Today's Thursday, there's Saturday, I have a whole Friday, yeah. I don't know what I said. That's what I meant. Yeah. It just sounded funny, yeah. All right, you guys. Well, is this a gift for a sample, Jan? This is for a friend. So it's their fabrics. It's the Cascade Duffle coat. All right, you guys. Well, I'm gonna go get some lunch, and then I'm gonna think about a couple things on this jacket and prepare us really well for Saturday because I really want to finish it on Saturday, and we have a long way to go. We have the full lining, but the lining is far fewer pieces, no zipper, no pockets. The linings go together like that. They're really fast. And then we attach it. So we have the toggles, the sleeves, we have facings. We have quite a few pieces. So, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome, Brooke. Have a good afternoon to you too. Cool. Yeah, I'll see you guys Saturday, my last stream of the year. Unless I'm not done, you'll see me at the beginning of next week finishing this coat, which I might do. I don't want to rush it, so. Christmas is on Wednesday, right? So we can do a Christmas Eve stream. Maybe Monday. Sounds crazy, but we might. I don't know. Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to seeing this finished. I'm going to work on this right here, though. It bugs me more than I want it to. You know? Cool. All right, you guys. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. And if I don't see you till next year, have a fantastic holiday season or time off I hope you get, or just enjoy the winter if you're not celebrating the holidays as well. Yeah, cool, Liza. Safe travels wherever you're going. Hopefully not going too far. All right, you guys, thanks for coming. And I will see you guys on Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific. And hopefully we'll finish this. We might not, but we'll see. So, bye, guys. Take care. See you soon. Bye.